Okay, timestamp. July 24th, 2025. Oh, it's my brother's birthday. That I haven't talked to in 25 years? We're close. Um, now I start coughing. I've been fine. 9:44 p.m. I've been kicking butt. Not like actual people. I abhor violence. More or less. Um, not a. I'm okay with necessary violence. Let's put it that way. I'm like, how do I put this? When I was younger, I was a bit of a hothead, and I would. Well, initially, when I was younger, I would just cry if I got picked on, and then I came to a point where I would just swing if I got picked on, and then I learned how to be a diplomat. I've heard it said that a diplomat is a warrior who earlier in their life would have killed the person on the other side of the table. Something like that. And I know that's not completely accurate because there are some diplomatic people that are completely pacifistic and have never been in a fight in their life. But I've known a few diplomatic people that come from a background of scrapping. Exactly. Zybots, you've got a knack for comedic timing. You just started to say timing and talent all at the same time. You got talent. It's all. Comedic timing can be learned, but when you've got a natural, like, innate understanding of it, people that have to learn it will never exceed how good you can get with it if you've already got that natural ability. I've just been going through boxes because there was big stack. I mean, there still is stack of, but there was big stack of like pink totes and boxes in the dining room. Got rid of some stuff in the living room too. But so my parents have giant, like the large size totes, blue, mostly, of like quilts, blankets, bedspreads. We're gonna look through it, and we might keep a piece or two. My mom has a big blue tote that's nothing but like handbags. I don't know enough to know whether or not they're designer or not. They are, I mean, they are labeled as though they are brand names, but I don't know if they're knockoffs or not. I don't know enough about that sort of thing. She got them with the intent of selling. I know that because we're not that fashion platey kind of, I must have Michael Kors. To be clear, I only know that name because I had an employee a few years ago who was obsessed. Everything she had to be. She's also the very good worker, like one of the best employees I've ever had. Also, my friend, Frank. But sorry. I was unlatching my Yoda lunchbox. Because I'm getting all my... she's the person who taught me the word bougie, which I think is fabulous. And I've got my... I haven't pulled the thing, so it's not active. I got this tree a while back. My best friend there, I think I've been calling him Bob, or Q, hates these damn things. They're in the teaching part of stationery, and people always pull the tabs off so that you can use them, and it's It's one of those like for like quiz team kind of stuff. And I picked up one or two of them over the past 6 years. I never activated them. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with them. I just know when I look at it, I think of you. Because anytime I was working over there, it was frequently the department that I stocked. Usually like stationery and then sometimes toys. If he was in the store stocking as well, I would occasionally accidentally hit the one that was functional a few times here and there. And I would frequently later hear, after, time number 8, Marcus! Just letting him know I was thinking about him and I love him. And I do. I love him, man. I've worked with him. I've known him 8 years. Worked with him for 6. He's a good man. But, Pix brought over a bunch more boxes. I still have boxes I hadn't gone through because I didn't have anywhere to go with it. Okay. Breathing saliva is not the best course of action. That wasn't emphysema. That was me deciding, well, I can do everything at the same time. And somewhere in my throat, the rest of me went, no, you can't. So I found some of my micro machines. Micro machines are cool. They are, they've been around. These came out in the 80s. They were initially by a company called Galoob. Galoob. They did Star Trek, Star Wars, Babylon 5. They did their own line of some like spaceships and stuff. All kinds of crazy stuff over the years. They kind of went out of business-ish, but then Mattel brought them back a few years back for some of the Star Wars stuff, and I think they might have done some other things too. But like, it's probably about 2.5 inches long. Nicely detailed. Not detailed to the extent that like some of these, like the Warhammer guys will paint their soldiers and whatnot. But, for a few bucks, and some of the older ones are way more than a few bucks now, because they're really hard to get. Yeah, as an example. But at the time, for a few bucks, and I've been grabbing some of these off of eBay here and there. This is one of the ones that they came up with as like their own personal, or their own line of science fiction ships. I think this is like a trilobite something or other. To me, it looks almost like the color scheme. It has almost an Egyptian flair to it. I get the feel like it should be something from like Stargate or something. But they did Aliens. But speaking of a few bucks, wait, no, they're not. This was incredibly hard to get a hold of. It's Voyager. Is it Sovereign class? I think it's Sovereign class. It's a Voyager. So most of the ships came out in either 1-packs, 3-packs, and they also had like big gift packs that would have like 9, 10, 16, 20 ships in it. Occasionally, they did a gift set that had an exclusive ship. Like you could only get it if you got the gift set. So there are a few ships out there that are really hard to get your paws on. I've seen just this by itself go for, the most I've ever seen it go for, I think, was about 80. That was a couple years ago. I got mine more years ago than that. And I got it in a mixed lot, and I still want to say I probably paid 30 or 40 for it when you broke down the lot that I got. But it was a few years back. This is the kind of thing that it was 30 or 40 a few years ago, then it became 70 or 80. I haven't even looked it up on eBay. I'm honestly terrified to, because I don't even want to know what they are this second. And maybe they're still only 70 or 80, and maybe they're 150. I don't know. I don't know. But I know that the gift sets, the last time I looked, a lot of those gift sets that have like the exclusive ship or two, some of those were going for, 300. That's something my dad absolutely can't comprehend. It's just a bunch of little pieces of plastic. Yeah. And it's so funny too, because he'd mentioned something like that, and I'm like, at one point he'd gotten a, I think it was like a custom Shelby steering wheel for a Volkswagen he was restoring, and he paid a lot of money for it. And I brought that up to him when he said about it's just a little plastic piece. I'm like, you dropped $500 for that Shelby steering wheel, and he's like, well, it's different. I'm like, how? I mean, really? He's like, well, that's brand name, that's Shelby, that's really a respected brand in the industry. I'm like, this is Star Trek, a worldwide phenomenon. Well, it's not the same. It's absolutely the same. Because you could have bought, a $20 steering wheel. Just like I could have bought a little generic toy spaceship from a dollar store. But I didn't. You know what I mean? I sought out a USS Voyager. I'm pretty sure it's Sovereign class. I might be wrong on that. I don't think I am, though. But yeah, they did. This is some of them. I want to say I have hundreds. This is actually one of the ones that they did in the more recent releases. Because they, obviously, in the 70s, 80s, and even early 90s, they wouldn't have done a Jedi Starfighter because they hadn't done them yet. They hadn't, put them in a film yet. It's about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches long. And that's a little hole that they have, and I don't have any in front of me. But it's a little clear plastic stand that you can mount it on if you want it like on a shelf or on your desk or something like that. Pretty cool. Love these things. And the really great thing about them is you can have a huge collection and it can fit in a shoebox. And that's part of the whole, my wife and I are trying to not have an incredibly cluttered house. Because for some reason we're kind of over that. We still like our collections, but if we're not able to enjoy the collection, what's the point in having it? This is actually a rather detailed figure, because they did figures too. Obviously this is from the prequels, so this isn't from the 80s either, but the General Grievous, check that out. The Wild Man. All those lightsabers that did not start out his. What a nice guy. Neat figure, though. But yeah, full disclosure, I frequently keep pilots and or like Imperial stuff because I'm just a big fan of the uniforms and whatnot. I'm amazed at, and this is not me siding with them, but I'm amazed at how much some of the Imperial uniforms over the years have kind of had a old school Germany look to them in certain ways. And sometimes it even looks like American or British uniforms too, but there are certain uniforms with some of the Imperial stuff that's like, ooh, that really has a kind of a 40s Germany flair going on there. That's a little on point. But yeah, going through boxes and boxes of stuff that I had on my desk, under my desk, in storage totes. Came across this as well in one of them. I had this hanging over my desk. I gotta figure out how to hang it up over here. Not for religious reasons per se. I know you can see that one wing is broken, and that wing actually has some damage too. Had a customer at the tree. Her name was Shirley, and I'm not changing the name because I don't need to. Nice older lady. And on one occasion she brought in, just of her own, not a product that she had bought with us. It was, okay, if you're familiar with the comic strip Nancy, it's been in the newspapers for, I think, around 173 years. There's Nancy and Sluggo, I think. And in the older strips and the older toys memorabilia, they had a weird like dot thing with the hair. They did the hair differently later on, because characters change looks, whatnot. She brought in, it's like a little porcelain Sluggo, and she was talking to one of the employees, and she talked to another employee, and she talked to another employee, and she came to me, and I'm like, this woman's making the rounds. This is when I first met her. And I'm like, can I help you? And she's like, okay, this has nothing to do with anything that you sell. I shop with you guys all the time. And I'd seen her before. A sweet old lady. And she held up that figure and said, do you know what this is? And, running a hobby store, being familiar with animation, cartoons, movies, pop culture, all that, I'm like, that is some kind. I looked at the bottom and it said like King Features. I'm like, well, it says King Feature Syndicate. It looks like Sluggo from Nancy, but the design on it is kind of the old school with the hair and the way his costume is and whatnot. So this is probably a more than 40-year-old porcelain Sluggo figure. And she was like, you're the one that can help me. And I'm like, oh dear God in heaven, what did I walk into? And I could see that it was cracked. And she's like, I put it back together again with like really crappy glue, and it like came apart in her hand even. She was like, and it didn't hold again. And I'm like, how am I involved in this now? You ask yourself those questions. What am I doing? And she said, I can pay you like $5 or whatever. It's sentimental to me. Can you fix this to where it doesn't do what it just did? And I said, I do crafting stuff. She didn't know that, but I'm like, you know what? I could tell this woman was kind of lonely. And I said, you know what? Hey, Acorn. I said, you can keep your $5. Yeah. I might not be able to get to it right away, so, don't come in tomorrow saying, where's my Sluggo? Because, it may take me a few days. I got a family. I got to make sure I've got the right stuff because I don't want to use a chemical that's going to mess it up worse. And she's like, no problem. A week or two, no problem. I'm in here all the time. I'll just check in with you, and there's no pressure. It's like, okay. And I got it done for in about a week. Wasn't that big a deal. And as the year went on, she was bringing me projects here and there. Nothing major, nothing like really invasive to where I needed to, buy special supplies or anything. I think once or twice I did buy like a $1 or $2 item just to make it work better, like a touch-up paint or something like that. But I was fixing craft items for her. And she brought this in one day, and she said, I've got a couple of these, but this one broke while it was in storage, and I love these things. The wing, and I'm like, well, there's pieces of the wing missing, so I don't know what all I can do. And she's like, just reattach the wing. If you could do that, that'd be great. I was like, okay, let me see what I can figure out. It's a little tricky, it's a little bit more delicate, but I got some magic in my wand. I'm sure I can figure something out. And she's like, Marcus, you always do. I'm like, okay, well, thanks for that. Let me see what I can figure out. So I got it done. This is like 5 years ago. I'm still not sure if I'm going to repair it all the way, or if I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But I got it this far, and I had it in the office at the store, and even my boss was like, what is this thing? I'm like, I fixed it for a customer, just humor me. It was Barbara. She knows me. She's known me. She was like, all right, I just can't stay in here forever, because it was in there for like a week or 2 or 3. And probably about 4 weeks later, a lady probably about 10 years younger than me came in, and she saw my name tag, and she's like, you're Marcus. And I was like, clearly, what can I do for you? And she's like, you know my mother. I'm like, sure, maybe. Who's your mother? She's like, her name is Shirley. She's always bringing you craft stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, fantastic. I've got actually an angel in the office that she wanted me to fix. I wanted to see if it was, passable, or if she wanted me to try and do a patch and like do a paint match or something like that with the patch area. And she was like, go ahead and keep it. I just wanted to come in and say thank you. And I was like, okay. And she's like, my mom fell about 3 weeks ago, and we've got her on machines right now, but she talked about you all the time. You were a friend at the tree. She'd bring in stuff, and you'd fix it and make it good as new. And I just wanted to come by and let you know, in case you've been wondering where she was. I'm like, yeah, I've been wondering where she was. Like I said, I've got her angel. And she's like, well, she won't be picking it up. So she said, thank you for being her friend. So I found this. And I'm gonna put it over here somewhere. I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. But just as a reminder that I can make a difference here and there, She was a sweet lady. A little bit of a dingbat, but in a cool way, So yeah, I found that in one of the boxes. That kind of hit me like a brick. I'm digging through the debris on the counter here. I'm like, oh yeah. So, figure that out. I didn't mean to bring the room down. Just thought, I'm like, hey, I could tell you guys this story. I don't think I'm gonna mess with the wing. I think I'm gonna leave it as is. Broken wings, right? It's like the song. But making good progress in here. Really good progress. Tiny didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so It's weird. She said that she didn't really feel at ease at George. Like she's kind of in her head committed to this is home now. Weird, interesting, you know. So didn't sleep well. Got here today, did a little bit of stuff, and was like, I'm just really tired. I didn't sleep. Do you need me to do something? And I'm like, honestly, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but yesterday I was able to get a lot done because you weren't putting stuff right in my way where I was working. So if you wanna power sleep, and let me, yeah, another old cartoon, Sally Forth on what I'm doing, then you win, I win, everybody wins. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go crash then. So you do that. So yeah. Yep. I got a lot done. And more to follow because I'm not done yet. I'm just kind of taking a break because my back is really, really questioning my life choices currently. Additional PSA, please don't drive drunk. You know, the emphysema, I've done it to myself. And I'm hopeful that I can quit smoking and keep it at bay to where if it does grow, advance, because it is progressive, that it progresses so slowly that, I'll die at 105 from something else. Occasionally needing a puffer or something. The back injury, and I've heard it said that a drunk driving accident isn't. And I wasn't sure what they meant at first. And the person explained that, anytime that you know that you're going to be drinking and you are still holding your keys with the thought of, I'm going to drive myself from this from where I am right now, it's no longer an accident if you get into a wreck. It's may not be on purpose, but you allowing yourself to be in that position, you take away the right to use the word accident. So that's an interesting way of putting it. So yeah, older guy, red truck, reeked of whiskey. Obviously it had a good night. And I've been limping for the past 15 years. Don't drive drunk. It's not cool. And it is a choice. So, true story. But yeah, I'm going to enjoy my coffee, a couple toots on a cigar, and move some more stuff around with, I think, a rather happy conclusion for the evening. And I've got some smaller boxes of toys on the couch in the living room, which I'm going to sort while I watch some Doctor Who, I think, and get ready to go to bed. But that's an hour or two, maybe 3 from now. I'm starting to get a little droopy, but I still got some spunk. Anyway. Make it a great day.